everybody, this is Kim with Big Sense. I'm so happy to see you guys again. I have a wonderful friend that I want to introduce to you guys. Her name is Miss Brittany Logan, and she is into holistic health. And she's going to give us so much information today. So I hope you guys have your pen and your pad so you can jot down a couple of things because she's going to drop a couple of nuggets on you guys in order to help you, especially with it turning cold. And you're going to need some insight on a couple of things that you're able to use to take care of yourself. So before I introduce her to you, you know what you have to do. Be sure and like and subscribe, as you know that is the only way that my channel is able to grow. So again, this is a good friend of mine, Miss Brittany Logan.
Hello, everybody.
And she is going to give us so much information today. So you already know I love to jump into these questions. But before I get into the questions, let me tell you a little bit about Miss Brittany. The name of her shop, her business, is called Heavenly Bodies by Brittany Holistic Nutrition. And your contact number, do you want everybody to know that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Her contact number is 731-277-9789 if you would like to give her a call if you're in the Jackson, Tennessee location or wherever you want to travel to Jackson. It will be a wonderful place for you guys to go or to come to. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. One of the questions that I have for you today is, when were you most satisfied with your job in holistic health?
It's I think that's like a constant. It's something that's constant.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love what I do. So I wouldn't even say that it's a job. I get up every morning and I'm excited to come here. Most times, like sometimes I do get drained out when I'm around a lot of people or servicing a lot of people, but I just recharge and come back to it. But it's something that I love doing.
Okay. That's great. Now, I know one thing that stuck out to me, you said recharge. What are some of the things that you do in order to recharge?
My most favorite thing is meditating. And a lot of people think that meditating is sitting somewhere quiet and just in a quiet space and trying to clear your thoughts. I can't do that. My mind just goes a million places. So I'll do things that center my attention, like maybe painting is one of them, writing, journaling, grounding. Where grounding is where you go outside and barefoot and you walk and you transfer energy, heavy energy, back into the earth, and reconnect with the self and the universe.
Okay.
So grounding is a big one. I like to take detox baths, or what I call them spiritual baths, and that's just a little sea salt, Himalayan salt, some essentials, and maybe some herbs here and there.
Okay.
And that always helps as well.
Okay. Okay. Now I tell you what, when you was talking about going outside with no shoes on, what did you say the term was called?
Grounding.
Grounding. I did that this summer.
Did you?
Because I'm always reading and looking at different things, and I was like, let me try that. I tell you what, guys, it really worked. It removes the stress. I was able to think. My mind was clear. Even my dog would go outside with me and he would roll over and we were standing. You know, the sun is outside and we're just, pulling in that sun. And it just really changed the atmosphere.
It really does. And the sun helps to fight depression as well. Especially going into your winter months where it's getting dark at 5 o'clock, and if you already battle with depression and anxiety this time of the year, it's like really hard for people like us to get through. So grounding and getting some sun on the days that the sun is out is extremely important.
It's important. You guys don't realize how important that sun is to get out there in it. So whenever the sun is outside, if you're in the office or if you're working from home, be sure and take a little time out of your day and get outside and pull in some of that sun. It's like healing.
It is. It's exactly what it is. Even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, as long as you're getting some vitamin D. And it also is going to keep your immune system boosted as well.
That's great. I love that. Everybody, I'm just so excited. I could not wait to get to Miss Brittany because I knew she had so much information that was going to be able to help so many different people, including myself. Another question that I have is, what is your greatest fear when it comes to the area that you're in? What do you see out here in the world um, that may bring in a little bit of fear,
Mhm.
but you pretty much have it together?
I would say my biggest fear is
You may not have a fear.
oh yeah, I got fears. I have a lot of fears. But my biggest fear is like knowing people like me who practice holistic, not only just practice it but teach it. Um, sometimes something bad happens to people like us.
Yes.
So that's gonna be my biggest fear is that I put myself out there as a sacrifice, and people don't understand that I'm not just doing this for money. It comes with fear.
Yeah.
That something may happen to me, or that I'll be taken away from my children, all because I'm going against the grain.
Yes, I get it. Because even with me in the area that I'm in, being an influencer, I'm putting myself out there. So it's just like being in the military, you're on front line. And because you're on front line, you take a lot of jabs because you're sincere and you want to give people good information that can be able to help them. But because we live in a dark world where a lot of people still working in a lower vibration,
right.
They look at you or they look at me or so many other people that's trying to do good in the world, like you said, going against the grain.
Right.
And they want to remove us or shut us up because they don't want the world to be in touch with the power that they have within them.
Oh, yeah. So I'll subconsciously dumb myself down, or I don't put in as much effort to get the word out there because I do go through these stages of fear, not only from like big pharma or pharmaceuticals, but like the health department or the hospital or some of the local doctors will catch wind of the work that I've been doing in the town.
Yes.
And especially like when I first came and I was having issues with the health department because they didn't want to release the exemption form for with the vaccinations. Okay. So they had a high number of people calling in wanting their vaccination form and then them telling them that they don't have it, and they did. And then also with the schools as well, because a lot of people don't have this information in front of them. Like when I moved here and I started putting information out, it's a lot of the time it was the first time people were hearing about these things.
Right.
Even though it's old as
yes,
it's ancient history.
But it's new for us.
Yes, because it's been taken from us. So I go against the grain with a lot of things. So not only do I have a fear of, like things that happen, or we'll say that, Nipsey Hussle, it had nothing to do with, the things that he was trying to do, but it seems as if people who are trying to make a difference, a big change for the better for our mindset, and a fatality, just like with rapper Young Dolph that just got killed.
Yes.
He was really making steps in his community for change, and he was gunned down. So that fear is there as well.
Right.
And then you have a step down from there. You have the people in the community who will make up rumors or make up lies,
right,
to try to persuade people not to do business with me or not to come into my store. So I only have, like people that are of the 1%ers, that I have to worry about. So like I said, I'll dumb myself down so I'm not in that light. But I also have people who are here in the community that does things to try to destroy what I'm trying to do.
Right. Because I know you're probably a big help for people who don't have insurance. And they may have the common cold and they need a little something that will be able to help them or assist them that's all natural. And that's something that you know a whole lot about through your experience.
Through my experience, yes. Especially with COVID and when the numbers go up, I'm a big go-to person in the community to help others. And even with that, you get the rumors that I'm doing things that I'm not doing.
Exactly.
And I'm only here to help and to help heal. And I'm not doing the healing. I'm just giving you the tools.
Exactly. A lot of people don't realize it's their faith that heals.
Yes.
It's their faith.
Yeah.
They're taking time out to believe in something that is greater than them and healing themselves. And a lot of people, I don't even realize that, just how much power you actually have by your faith.
Yes, and your tongue. You know, the words are extremely powerful.
Yes.
And then to be mindful, like if I was to speak bad on you, or you know, say that you're a horrible person, and you do this and you do that, I'm speaking that on myself as well, because that's what I'm putting. I'm putting out emotion behind that.
Oh my gosh.
So a lot of people don't notice that they doing that as well. And when you're a public figure, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get the people who watch my videos or watch the content that I just a moment. Hey.
So what we're doing right now is we're still in business hours. So a lot of times you're going to find different people that's going to come in that need some assistance. So we're going to be, checking in from time to time to make sure that we get everything taken care of. But I know a couple of things that Miss Brittany was talking about is, when you're in front of people and you're trying to assist people and help people when it comes to your health. A lot of times you get to a point where you do get extremely tired because people is pulling, on your energy, and there are things that's always needed. So we'll be right back. Okay, in this field, when it comes to holistic healing, a lot of people get it confused because with the holistic healing, you're able to use different herbs that are natural to heal yourself. But there's also other ways that people use this. And I was wondering, do you ever have to deal with people, and I'm going to say this, it's a little bit of taboo, witchcraft?
Yes, I get that a lot. I get that a lot. I have a lot of people who claim that I practice witchcraft, especially dark magic. And I've heard that I've put curses on people.
Right.
And that like the black magic is one of the things that I've said, and that I've put things on certain people.
How stupid. That's crazy.
You know, if I was that powerful enough to speak something or light a candle and pray that something bad happens to someone else and then it happens, do you think that I would waste that energy on someone else?
I don't even think people even think about that. I mean, that's how uneducated people are when it comes to holistic healing.
Right. If I had that much power, please understand that I would not be sitting right here, right now, trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my bills.
Exactly.
You know, I am human, and I'm...
A lot of people don't even realize that.
Well, let me not say I'm human. I am a spiritual being having a human experience.
Exactly.
And I would not waste my magic on praying for something bad to happen to someone else, because this universe is set up on laws.
Right.
And law of attraction is one of the main laws. Right. So you literally attract everything that you think. Exactly. And you may not even think that. You might think that, oh, I got in that car wreck, it just happened by incident. Nothing on this plane happens by accident. Everything happens with intent. So if I pray that you walk out this door and catch the flu, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to catch the flu.
Exactly.
Or one of my children or my mother, somebody's going to catch it where it affects me. It's just not, I'm not going to wish bad on you and then nothing happens to me.
Exactly.
It's give and take. So if I did wish for something bad to happen to somebody else, something definitely is going to happen to me. And you know why? Because I believe that.
Yes. And a lot of people don't even realize how deep that runs. I have a podcast, and one of the things that I was talking about is everything that we're talking about right now. The way that I explained it is the world is like a boomerang. Whatever energy you push out is the energy that you will get back.
Mm-hmm.
So if you push out good, you can expect good to come back. And if you push out bad, you can expect bad to come back. And one thing that I pointed out is people who literally use their faith or their power for something bad, it will not come back the way that you pushed it out. It will come back in a manner that you would least expect, with more of a force or a push than what you put out. Because I look at it as that's the universe way of spanking your hands and telling you don't do it again. Don't even think about doing it again. So in this season, which we are in the season of Aquarius, we have to be careful of the words that come out of our mouth and the actions that we push out into the universe.
Exactly. And normally when I hear these rumors, it's from people who've never met me, who've never came through that door, or never had the pleasure of having a conversation with me. Because if you knew me and if you had been around me, you would know that my energy is pure.
Exactly.
My heart is pure. I would literally take this shirt off and not have another one and give it to you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So my job here is to love people, and with love comes healing. But then at the same time, just as much as I have those people who hate me for no reason. Yes. Who, like I said, never had a conversation with me. Who would get on Facebook and watch these little 30-second videos and think that they know me, or dissect my videos and critique me. Yes. When again, these are just suggestions. Exactly. This is something that I tried. Hey, it worked for me. It may not work for you, but you could try it. Exactly. And like me coming into this, like I get the question all the time, like, how did you get into this? And it's not really something that I got into. These heavenly bodies, this building came from conversations. Conversations like, hey, I'm not feeling well. I got a cramp here. I'm dealing with blood pressure issues. What do you think? You know what I'm saying? And then I'll go read a book and be like, hey, black seed oil has a lot of benefits. I've heard that it helps with blood pressure. So my parents had issues with blood pressure. So I'm like, Mom, take this black seed oil and see, what happened. So I took their blood pressure, gave them some black seed oil, gave them some sea moss, and then 30 minutes later, it was a significant difference. Wow. So this worked for my parents. Why don't you see if it works for yours? So exactly. I lived in Nashville where all these herbs and things are like at will. I could go to the turnip truck or Whole Foods or Publix and just go and get these things. And then when I moved here, access is zero. So you can't find a lot of these things here in this city. So I wanted to be able for you to come in a store in Jackson and pick up your herbs, pick up your sea moss, and not have to order it online, or not have to go through the trial and error I did and get fake this or fake that. Yes. And I think a lot of people don't understand the work that I put in for you to be able to have access to these things. Right. So tell me this. I know it's a lot, and me and you can go all day. A lot of you don't even realize me and her had a conversation before we even start filming, and we were just going on and on. I was like, that was some good stuff. I should have filmed it. A lot of Exactly. And again, this is during work hours for her, so the traffic is coming in. They'll come in to see her. And so sometimes we'll have to stop filming, and then we'll get started talking about something else, and then we'll go back to filming. So today it has been crazy, but I tell you what, I welcome the experience. I never know what's going to happen, but I tell you what, I love every bit of it. I tell you what, it was back in the summer, and I came to see you, and I did my first detox with my foot to try to see what was going on with my body. And you explained so many different things to me when it came to that. So a lot of my health journey in regards to my body and being more conscious with it came from coming to see you and me putting my foot in the water and you explaining to me what everything meant. And that's kind of the point, just to spark that change. Because it's like with anything, it requires consistency. But if I could just spark a change in you. Even if it's like, okay, all you did was add more water to your diet or add more fruits and raw vegetables to your diet. That's a start. And if that's all I did for you, I never see you again, but you carry that for life.
Exactly.
I've accomplished something with it. That's more than money.
Right.
You know?
Is.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It is a lot. So you are really doing some wonderful things in the community. And it's so many things that she can explain to you and show you. In a little bit, I'm going to show you around the shop if it's different things, that you want to be able to use. Again, it's winter time. People are catching colds. There are different natural herbs that you're able to use where you can use it in a tea and you can drink it and it makes you feel better. It opens up your sinuses. Little things, of that nature. Also, I noticed that you also deal with, I can't think of it right now. It's the stones, the different stones.
Oh, yeah.
And the meaning of the stones.
Yes.
I do
have these stones. I have 4 stones in the shop with me, and they are amethyst, rose quartz, tiger eye, and avertine. And I have this is amethyst, which is one of my favorites. It's for protection. And this was another opal crystal that I keep for balance. Yes. To stay balanced, because it's very hard to stay mentally balanced in this city.
And normally I wear copper. I didn't put it on today, but copper also brings about balance as well.
It does, and it helps with arthritis as well. The people don't understand how powerful minerals are, because these all they are is minerals. So again, these are also deemed, because I wear these and I burn sage, that I'm practicing some sort of craft.
I do that as well, but I do that for cleansing out negative energy, because being a public figure and with you working with customers, everybody is coming in from all walks of life, and you don't know what's in a person's heart.
Exactly.
So with that being said, you have to protect yourself, because if you are empath,
I was just going to say that.
You take on people's energy.
And it's very hard not to. And just like when you're an empath, you give people your energy. Even with this, I haven't figured out how not to do it. I can hug you and I'm going to feel your emotions as if I'm going through it. So if I have, and then I have people that come here just to talk. So if I have people come in, say I have 5 customers who aren't doing well mentally and they come in to dump on me. So then you're going to leave feeling better. I do not let anyone come in this shop leaving the way that they came. So you're going to leave and you're going to feel better, but I'm going to feel the way that you felt. So then, we go with the cleansing. And so when I go through my high months where I'm just working, because I'll get to the point where I'm working 7 days a week. Right. And I might not be in the shop. I may be traveling for supplies because I'm very funny about what I do sell. And I've been having the same vendor since I started. So I was having issues with the mail, so I will drive all the way to my vendor to hand pick up my items, because my customers mean that much to me. So you will have these moments where I have to come back and regroup, and then sometimes I'll forget and I'll just be going and then I'll crash. Yes. So it's very important to practice those cleansings or have my crystals that can do the work that I can't. So they're important to me. They mean things to me. And like I said, it's all about what you believe. So if you believe these are bad and they're demonic, then that's what they're going to be to you. But I don't feel that way. I feel when you actually pick up one of these crystals, sometimes they'll vibrate, sometimes they'll get warm. And so that's how you know that crystal is for you. And like I said, they all have different meanings and different properties, and they serve different purposes. So what I want to encourage people to do is take out that judgmental mind and research the history of sage or the history of these crystals and stop giving things so much power.
Right.
Because it's just a mineral, a rock. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have the power to make you sick or, anything. They vibrate high, so they don't associate with low vibrating mentalities. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's no rock that I'm carrying that's gonna make you sick or make you die or any of those. Some of the rumors that I've heard, I encourage you to research history and research what witchcraft is, because or what voodoo is, and just like there are good Christians or there are bad Christians. We're all human. It's the intent behind things.
Right.
And so I just encourage people to research instead of being so judgmental.
Exactly. Especially when you have no understanding. It's always good to be able to find out for yourself.
Especially if you're getting your information off from movies.
Yes.
Or social media or the media.
Right.
Because it's certain things in history books that will not be televised.
No. It's only so much information that will be given out. That's why it's always good that when you hear something in the air and it touches you in a manner that you didn't expect, that means it's time for you to do a little bit of research in order to find out more information about that. One thing that I wanted to point out is, do you ever take your work home with you? Do you find yourself dealing with?
Explain, because I'm like, yeah. What do you mean, though?
Well, what I mean is, one thing that you pointed out is a lot of times being in the public eye, you will get dumped on because everybody is looking for counsel. And they have information of what they're going through or what they're dealing with in life. And they just lay it all out on you. Do you find yourself going home and being worried about that person?
Yes, especially like when we just had that other wave of, people getting sick all at once. So I'm servicing, I want to say, almost 100 people a day. And so it's hard to get to everybody. And then people, of course you see me on social media, so your first thought is to contact me through social media, which is the worst way to get in contact with me because everybody is thinking that. So my social media is constantly going off. So you can get all the way down and you really needed me. And instead of you picking up the phone to call me, you inbox me. And so it was times where I would go into bed and not being able to get updated on my inbox, and then I'll wake up and I'll check my inbox and I'll go to that person's page and that person was in the hospital. Wow. So then I would immediately get depressed. And so that kept happening. Because I'm like, what if I could have helped that person? Then that person wouldn't be in the hospital, or especially when it was like the little babies, that would really tear me up. So yes, I do take this home. And another thing that that really bothers me is like the rumors.
Yes, I get it. Because when you know that you are a sincere and a good person, and to know that someone is even putting you in the same position of people that don't wish people well, that only lets me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do out here. Because again, we live in a dark world. And a lot of people don't have any understanding. So what I have learned to start doing with people that may be an enemy for me is I look at it from a different point of view, as to say, it looks like I am now being put in position to help you. That's why you feel the way that you feel about me, because a blessing is going to come out of that. That's the way I see it. So it's almost like being a teacher and you have students, and the student that may be the worst in the classroom to give you all the trouble is the student that you're on assignment for.
I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get better with it. I really am. I'm trying to not let the negativity cloud my judgment.
Right.
Because it'll get to the point where I'll be like, I don't have to be here. I don't have to do this. I'm doing this out the kindness of my heart. I don't have to give you this information. A lot of the information I just give you for free. I'm not charging you for it. You come in here, you get gems. I don't hide anything. I'm an open book. So if you ever want to know anything, you can just simply call me and ask me. You don't have to go behind my back or talk about me. Which, you know, that's going to happen. But
exactly.
I'm trying to get to the point where it doesn't, like, live in my head.
Exactly. And it's not going to live in your head because now you have a new way to look at it.
Yeah.
You're on assignment. So the squeaky wheel gets the most attention.
Yeah.
So that's who your assignment is when you feel that type of energy.
You just don't understand how much you mentored to me and just, you know, within this interview. Because that does weigh heavy. I mean, when you're trying to do something just to simply help, like that's my only reason for doing this, because I want to help my community.
I know. And that is exactly what's going to happen. So when we have to deal with the enemy, one good way to look at it is to always find your safe place and leave all of that burden there and leave it there. And I guarantee you will get downloads of information to be able to, I'm in your head.
You are.
You know, your higher power will give you downloads of whatever it is that you need. And you will find yourself having the strength that you need in order to keep going, to keep moving. Because a lot of people don't understand what Big Sense is all about. You look at that picture and you think it's about me because you see my picture on there. But Big Sense in actuality is really a ministry. It's a ministry. Big Sense represents my higher power because he's the only one that gives me downloads in order to be able to feed so many different people. When I say feed, I'm referring to spiritual, give you jewels, bring people in on the show that's able to help you and assist you with your health, with your looks, feeling good about yourself, motivation, build up your self-esteem. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that this business is about, especially like with the body contouring and everything. It's also to boost your self-confidence, but raise your vibrations. Because if you're depressed and sad and you're insecure, it's going to cause you to vibrate at a lower frequency.
Exactly.
So all of it was to, like, I felt like my city needed some uplifting. Did I know that I was going to be tore down because of that? I didn't. So the growth. So here, what I've been doing is replacing negative thoughts with affirmations. And one of my friends had posted that on Facebook last week. And so all week I've been saying this one affirmation that he had posted. So he was saying that, every time you have a negative thought, to replace it with 27 affirmations. But it's, whatever your number is. My number is 7, of course. So whenever I have a negative thought, or when someone else's thoughts come into my mind, I'll replace it with those affirmations. Like, I'm beautiful, I am healing, I am divine, feminine energy.
Right.
Nothing can waver me. I am the tree planted by the water.
Yes.
So I've been practicing that for the last week, so it's been helping tremendously.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now, here's something that I definitely want everybody to know. This is something personal that happened in your life. You had a situation that occurred with your baby, your daughter. How old is she?
She's 2.
She's 2. Y'all, she is gorgeous. She is gorgeous. But she had gotten sick.
She did.
And you had to take her to the doctor.
She had, so I was at, I had went to Miami.
Okay.
And my mom had kept her for me. And she called me while we were there. And she said, I think 7 got chickenpox. Mind you, my daughter has never been vaccinated. We did delayed cord clamping. So she got all her nutrition that she needs. She's never been sick. So when she got sick, it kind of like blew my mind. So she was like, she ran a slight fever. We put calamine lotion all over her. She was fine. So when we got back, she was fine. My mom had picked her up from the babysitter. The plane had landed. We were on our way back. And my mom was like, you need to get home right now. Well, first she had sent me a picture of 7 playing. So I'm like, what do you mean she's sick? You just sent me a picture. She was fine. She was like, well, She was running towards me and she fell. When I picked her up, her whole body was limp.
Wow.
She had no control over her body.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, go ahead and take her to the hospital because I'm not there. So although I am technically considered the go-to person for anything that goes wrong, it's different when it happens to your child because my emotions are involved. When you bring your child to me, I'm not emotionally attached to your child so I can think clearly. So I didn't want to be like, I'll just wait till I get there and I'll figure it out. And then something terrible happened, I'll never forgive myself. So I was like, just take her to the ER because I'm not going to be able to get to you in time. So we take her to, my mom lives in Highland, so they take her to the ER in Highland. And they're running tests and nothing's wrong. She's completely fine. I'm like, why can't she walk?
Right.
So then they sent us to Memphis. And we was at Memphis there for a couple of hours. They ran tests and nothing. So then they sent us to the Children's Hospital downtown Memphis. And we stayed there for another day where they ran tests. They did the vet test.
Yes.
And meningitis, they tested her for everything and nothing was wrong. So I took her home and I'm like, okay, Brittany, look, my friend texted me and she said, stop thinking like a mother. So snap out of mom mode. So I was like, okay, I'm not sure, Mom, what is wrong with this child? So I'm looking at her and I'm like, okay, she's off balance. And by this time she had started to gain some cognitive motion, so she was taking steps, but she was going to the left. So, and then when the doctor, I remember when the doctor had held a pen up, and when she went to grab the pen, she went to the left. So I was like, okay, something's neuro. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, she's kind of acting like she got vertigo, and I kept telling the doctor she was acting like she has vertigo, and they was like, she's too young to have vertigo, and I'm like, so it's an age? That doesn't make any sense. So when I get home, I'm going to treat her like she has vertigo. So I did a lymphatic massage and I flushed fluid off of her from head to toe. And then I candled her ears and I put some black seed oil and tea tree oil in her ears. And then she started to swallow. And the next day, she was perfectly fine.
Stop it. So it's almost like you're getting the experience in-house in order to help somebody out.
It was more so like, I gave you the tools you need. So why are you looking outside of you?
That's wow.
So it's like an eye-opener experience for me. Because like I said, I do dumb myself down. So it's like I'll get these downloads or experiences in life where it's like, hey, remember who you are. Remember why you're here. Remember why I gave you the opportunity to be born again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and my grandma used to say that all the time. We were talking about things that my grandma used to say. And she used to always tell me, when she'd get up in the morning and she would sweep the floor. Because she was OCD, which I wish I had, got some of that from her. But she was like, in order to get into heaven, and coming up, you're thinking that heaven is this place that I want to go, but heaven is an experience that you could have here if you have a clean house and a pure heart, and you must be born again. And when she used to say that born again all the time, it never registered to now in my 30s.
Right.
I get what she means about being born again, and that's something that's constant. You're constantly being born again, like the phoenix.
Yes.
So you have people be like, oh, she used to do this, she used to do that. Hey, I am not that person anymore.
Are you guys catching this?
That person has died, literally, and had been born. I've been born several times. Wow. Within the last 6 months. I'm nothing like the person that I was yesterday. And if you see me and you see old videos and like, she doesn't do this like that anymore. And I would wonder about you if you stayed the same. 10 years from now, you're exactly the same.
Because
something's not right. Right. You're supposed to be constant growth, constant elevation, and constant download.
Yes. How great is that? Okay, everybody. As you can see, we will go on all day long. The conversation was great, but we can't stay here and talk for too long. So we're going to go ahead and end it from here. So, Miss Brittany, do you have any handles that you want to give everybody so they can contact you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. It's heavenly_bodies16. On Facebook, it's Brittany Logan, Brittnie Logan, or I also have a page, Heavenly Bodies, on Facebook as well. I'm located at 703 North Highland at the corner of Highland and Arlington. It's very easy to pass me, but I am at the corner of Highland and Arlington, a little bit past the turn for JCM. And phone number is 731-277-9789, and I'm open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 5.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, friend. This was fun.
This was great, wasn't it? It was great. And real quick, before I let you guys go, what do you think about this shirt that I have on? If you've been to my Facebook business page, I'm pretty sure you had the opportunity to see it because I've been showing it to everybody. And I want to go ahead and give some shout outs to some people. The logo came from Miss Parker. I'm going to give you her information. Her name is Anita, and you can find her on Facebook at Anita Reed Parker. You can also contact her at anitaparker.online. And she also have a Instagram, which is at anitaparker.online. So you can find her that way. And the person who created the shirt for me, which is Big Sense, his name is Warren Holloman, and you can find him on IG at Strong Print But God. Also on Facebook at Strong Print Designs, and Facebook at Warren Holloman, and his website. You can probably find it on his Facebook account. So be sure and, get in touch with those people if you want to get some things done as far as business with logos or even having a shirt designed and made. I really appreciate those guys. Thank you so much. So you know how we do it. As always, I can't wait to see you guys in your future, and I love you. Mwah! Bye.